I hear you losers have been having a hard time clearing your lost sectors. You want exotic gear, you better listen to me. I have no idea how the f you have 7,000, but whatever.
Don't believe that. Almost done, dude. Holy shit. More runs, probably. Two more runs.
Alright, cuties, I'm about to go play with 2 more cards if you can rank. Good luck
You
on
got
your
this, my
adventures.
boy.
Sorry, sorry.
You better be warmer than warm is warm, bro.
Warmer than right now.
Exactly.
Alright,
What I'm talking about. Good luck. The glory flawless solo mastery. I'm going to tell you guys about this build that absolutely deleted in the master solo lost sector. This is going to be a typical strand hang up with osteo striga build, but today we're going to be going with obviously strand, everything normal. I want to make sure that we have our shackle grenade on. We are not going to be consuming this grenade. I understand we're not making any use of this here fragment. What you can do for your fragments, I would suggest we make sure that we have the grenade energy on, thread of generation. This is pretty fundamental to this as you're going to be dealing increased damage while something is hung up. you're going to want to make sure that you get your grenade back if you aren't able to kill the champion that you're stringing up. This makes it so that you have your grenade back almost every single time that you need it. And that's really what we're looking for. It's very important. This right here will make it a lot easier for you to kill champions while they're hung up because they'll be hung up for a much longer time. You're going to be using a lot less heavy ammo on this. It's just really important. A lot of the things that you're killing will be suspended, so having extra class ability energy is going to be pretty important. It gives you a little bit of extra damage from the threadlings that come out. So this is really nice as well. Also, it'll help keep you alive. This fragment isn't really necessary. You can kind of pick whatever you want. I was also thinking there's defeating suspended targets with precision final blows creates an orb of power. That sounds pretty nice. And there's also this just for the resilience so that you can allocate your mods into maybe a different stat. It is nice if things unwind into a tangle so you can do this. Not super necessary. It does help moving from fight to fight after killing a champion just because you can start the next fight with a tangle. So this is the one that I use personally. Obviously, we need the Osteostriga. The Osteostriga does stupid amounts of damage. It's like 21 to 2400 damage per headshot, and it does extra tick damage because of the poison. I do highly recommend that you bring a pulse rifle. These barrier champs do suck a lot. Being able to handle them without the use of your grenade is going to make things a lot easier. There are certain areas where it's not necessarily the best idea for you to go getting really close to the barrier champions, and so you're gonna want to have a more long range option for the stun to keep them from being able to heal themselves. Also, you can use this as a secondary way of dealing damage if things are a little bit out of range of your Osteostriga. And then obviously we have a rocket with auto-loading holster. Obviously, you can always use a good GL or a nice machine gun if you have a commemoration or something like that. You can go for that. Me personally, I just love my auto-loading holster rocket launchers. It's just, bring it up, do tons of damage real fast, put it away. Don't worry about it until I want to, shoot it again. Really nice. When we go with our armor, you have options, right? I think we're pretty limited on options for the build just because there's only one strand exotic. I've been using the necrotic grip, and the reason why is when you apply damage with Osteostriga and the poison is ticking down, and that poison latches onto other targets. If the poison kills those targets, then the poison will spread. It makes it so that rather than the first target dying and then spreading poison to all of the surrounding targets, that means now the surrounding targets will also spread poison and it develops further that way. The only other exotic that I saw that would look pretty good with this was the Eye of Another World, just to make sure that we have this. The highlighting priority targets doesn't really matter, but having increased regeneration of my grenade, melee, and rift abilities is really nice because my rift applies damage, and obviously my grenade is like what this build is surrounded around. I need my grenade on repeat. It needs to be up at all times. So this paired with the fragment that I showed you earlier is just going to make things a lot easier. Obviously, our melee does quite a bit of damage, so adding an extra 50% regeneration is more than welcome. Let's get into the mods. On the mods, I made sure that I have a kinetic siphon. This Osteostriga just absolutely obliterates ads, and so I want to be making sure that I have those orbs of power. This will feed directly into our kinetic weapon surge mods on our legs, which are going to empower our Osteostriga more. Every time we get an orb of power with time dilation, we should get about 30 seconds of increased damage time. It's not a whole lot of extra damage, but really over the course of an entire lost sector, it is going to add up. I made sure we have our melee attacks give us back our grenade cooldown. If we do need our grenade back, I want to make sure my Osteostriga is reloading as fast as possible. It already reloads really quickly, but this can't hurt. And then obviously, I'm going to be using my grenade all the time. So having a little bit of extra damage and healing coming out of my healing rift is going to be really nice. So that's why this is on here. Pretty standard for body mods. Just incoming arc, void, and solar to make sure that you're just generally covered. And then for the bond, we have 2 grenade cooldown reducing, right? Because we're going to be using our class ability a lot. That's going to make sure 1, we're doing more damage, and 2, we have access to our grenade even more because we're using our class ability. Time dilator obviously makes perfect sense. We can keep our damage up. Let's go into the artifact mods that are important for this build. You want to make sure that you have anti-barrier pulse rifle on. You want to make sure that you're reducing the cost of your grenade mods. Just don't want to run out of space on our armor, right? Obviously, we already went through making sure all of the mods got on there, but this is going to be important to making sure everything gets in there. If you're running a void secondary, make sure you put on volatile flow. It's just going to be really nice to have those volatile rounds coming out. If you decide to use a void pulse rifle or forgo using a pulse rifle altogether, and just hanging things up and hoping it works out. I hope you have a relatively long range secondary. There's a really nice void pulse rifle that I'll show you in a second here that you can use if you would like. And then this is going to be really awesome at making sure that you have energy for all of your strand abilities. Threaded blast could be nice if you happen to run into a situation where it looks good, but other than that, we're not super worried about the artifact. Just make sure that we're getting use out of your strand class, and then remembering that void weapons are pretty busted right now because of volatile flow and this authorized mods void. So I mentioned a pretty goated pulse rifle that you can use. Doesn't necessarily have the highest damage in the world, but you can pick it up from the Lost Light kiosk at the tower, and you have your choice of a bunch of different perks. If you prefer tunnel vision kill clip, you can go for that. But repulsor brace for the overshield is pretty nice, and golden tricorn will make sure that we have extra damage post every kill. It's a 15% damage buff, and then if you manage to kill something with an ability afterwards, you get a 50% damage buff for an extended duration. Could be nice, kind of hard to proc, but you know, that extra 15% post kill could get us somewhere. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and possibly leave a comment. If you would like to see more content from me, please browse the YouTube channel, or you can even catch me live on Twitch every single day at twitch.tv/dr3xuss. I'll see you there.